Hello everyone, my name is Blair Sanders. This is my final presentation for HIST 300 with Dr. Joseph Super for fall of 2018. The topic I chose for my final presentation was the impact on World War II from the Army and the Army Air Force. So I wanted to take a deeper look into the influence specifically that the Army had, not only in its missions that it had to complete during World War II, but I wanted to take a deeper look into the impact that the Army had and the effects on the home front, the impact at home with parents, wives, children. The reason that I chose this as my final project was because during the research over the last 8 weeks that I've conducted in this class, I found family ties. I currently have a tie to the military. My husband is active duty, but I found a specific tie with my great-grandfather, and actually my step-great-grandfather. And when I found that tie, I pretty much was drawn right away to the final presentation in doing this. My great-grandfather's name was Edward J. Zagorski, and he was a sergeant in the United States Army during World War II. My step-great-grandfather was named Frank Brock, and he was a 2nd Battalion in World War II. He was actually in the United States Marine Corps, so I won't be using him as much as a reference, but it was another link in history for me that drew me to this topic. Edward Zagorski was on the main combat, and he worked on the main combat vehicles during World War II. And so kind of linking back to that, when I was trying to think of a historical question or a historical topic that, drew questions to my mind, I was drawn, like I said, to my great-grandfather and to his link into World War II. So I wanted to kind of find the significance on the Army and the Army Air Force and their impact to the home life in combat, on the home front, and the Allied victory. All of that, what was their impact on all of that during this time period? So, I focused on those points. How did the Army or the Army Air Force impact lead to an Allied victory? How did it feel on the home front? And how did it feel in combat? So that also kind of goes hand in hand with the assistance, of their major theaters of World War II. There were 3 major theaters during that time period, and that also linked into the overall progress of all the noble battles during World War II, as well as I wanted to kind of show a little bit of light onto the Army Air Force, which my great-grandfather actually had a really good friend who served with him in the Army, but he was in the Army Air Force aspect of it, not the head-on battalion like my great-grandfather was. But that friend served in the Army Air Force aspect of it, which that ended up leading right to the Air Force that we have today. It was the setting ground foundation for the United States Air Force that we have today. And so that is where we're going to start out.